Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Brita Wallace, family and parent educator with Wallace Family Ministry. Excuse me, I misspoke there. And we are embarking on a love dare journey for our marriages or our relationships with our special someone. So today we are on day 17, which is love promotes intimacy, okay? So he who covers over an offense promotes love, but whoever repeats that matter separates close friends. Proverbs 17:9. So some questions for you to ask yourself is, who are the closest to you in your life? With whom do you share your secrets? So this may be a good friend, it may be a sibling or a parent or a coworker. All right, but nothing should rival the closeness that can be experienced between a husband and a wife. And maybe you don't have that relationship with your husband or your wife, but you should, right? Marriage is designed to be the most intimate of all human relationships, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, okay? So that is why it's so beautiful and why we need it. Okay, we long for a best friend. Our spouses should be our best friend. Okay, so we want a safe and loyal companion in our spouse, one who understands who we are, right? And one who knows our deepest, darkest secrets. And they still love and accept us despite them, right? So, or in spite of them, excuse me. So intimacy is described as being fully known and fully loved. So that's the first point that I want you to get. We need to learn what intimacy is. If we don't know, it's being fully known and fully loved. And sadly, many marriages lack the intimacy that God desires between a man and his wife. For this blessing is also the site of its greatest danger, okay? Someone who knows us this intimately can either love us at depths we never imagined or can wound us in ways we may never recover from. And that is the second point that I want you to get, is that someone who knows us this intimately can either love us at depths that we can never imagine, or can wound us in ways we may never recover from. And this is both the fire and fear of marriage, okay? It's why creating a very safe place for one another to open up is fundamental for intimacy to thrive. All right, so a few more questions that the authors have in here for you are, what are you experiencing the most in your home right now? Are you open books or more like closed vaults? Ouch, right? That can hurt some of us, okay? So how much do you really talk with your spouse? How much do you trust each other with secrets? Would your mate say that you make them feel safe or scared, especially if you've wounded one another in the past? You will tend to be guarded and hide from intimacy. All right, so the next point that I want you to get is, if home is not considered a place of emotional safety, you will both be tempted to seek it somewhere else. All right, so that's a really slippery slope that we do not want to be on. Okay, so love can help us rediscover intimacy with our spouses no matter what we are going through right now, no matter what the situation is in our lives right now. We can choose to love and we can rediscover the intimacy with our spouses, okay? There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out all fear. 1 John 4:18. And your mate should not feel pressure to be perfect in order to receive your attention and approval. So is that something that your mate struggles? Is that something that your mate struggles with, where they feel like your love is conditional, right? He or she should not walk on eggshells, and you're in the very place where they ought to feel the most comfortable in their bare feet. The atmosphere in your marriage should be one of freedom. Like Adam and Eve in the garden, your coexistence at home should only intensify your intimacy. Being naked and not ashamed, Genesis 2:25, should always be in the same sentence, right in your marriage, physically and emotionally. This is very tender territory, right? Marriage has unloaded another person's sinfulness and baggage into your life, and yours into theirs as well. So both of you may feel misunderstood and unloved, which is actually the opposite of intimacy. Okay, so the good news is that today begins an opportunity to wrap your mate's private info in the protective embrace of your love and recommit to being the one who can best help him or her deal with it, okay? Some secrets may need correcting. Therefore, you can be an agent of compassion and healing. Not by lecturing or criticizing, but by listening in love and then gently speaking truth when they feel safe enough to receive it from you. That is really important. That's another important point. Some secrets just need accepting, okay? They're part of this person's makeup and history, and though unpleasant, these issues always require a gentle touch, okay? So in either case, you alone as the spouse wield the power either to reject your spouse because of what you know or welcome them, all right? And that means all the bad stuff and all that had happened. You either welcome them or you reject them. They will either know that they're in your refuge of safety where they are free to make mistakes, or they will recoil into themselves and be lost to you. And this could happen perhaps forever. This is the next point that I want you to get, and it's really, really important. Loving them well should be your life's work, okay? Loving our spouses well should be our life's work, all right? Consider it this way. No one knows you more intimately than God, the one who made you. The writer of Psalm 139 was right when he prayed, "You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You understand my thoughts from afar. You scrutinize my path and my lying down, and are intimately acquainted with all my ways. Even before there is a word on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it all." Psalm 139, 2-4. And yet God, who knows every secret about us, loves us at a depth that we cannot begin to fathom. How much more should we, as imperfect people, reach out to our spouse in grace, accepting them for who they are and assuming them their friendship and secrets are safe with us? So, is this an area that you failed in the past? If this is true, don't expect your mate to immediately give you wide open access to their heart. And this is something that I really need to work on in my life, because I've really learned how to love in my life conditionally. In parenting, in relationships, and this is not something that comes naturally to me, and it's something that I have to practice over and over again. And there's a lot of things that I'm reading in here, if I'm being honest, where my heart is being convicted, and that's why I need to do this study as much as everybody else who is on this study. And sometimes I need to do it again and again. Sometimes I need to look back at this study and say, like, I'm really not doing good in this area right now for my spouse, and I want to be this open place for my spouse, and I do want to be that person for them. But for both of us, we both struggle in this area to be this person for each other. So we would both really benefit from doing this, Darren, really learning the concepts and the things that they're saying in here, because it would bring us just such closer intimacy together, and to just not be on the opposite spectrum of that, right? So we need to accept our spouses for who they are and assure them that their friendship and secrets are safe with us, okay? So I think I repeated myself there. I'm very, very sorry. So we must begin to rebuild trust slowly, to stop avoiding our spouses and start talking to them, to listen to them compassionately, to accept them more genuinely, and then to love them more deeply. Okay, Jesus himself is described as one who doesn't barge into people's lives, but who stands at the door and knocks. All right? He said, "If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and will dine with him, and he with me." Revelations 3:20. This is the next point that I want you to get. The reality of intimacy always takes time to develop, especially after being compromised. So if that's you, that's definitely how my marriage is, and definitely where work needs to be done for sure, is that we have to understand that this takes time to develop, even especially after being compromised. So it's something that we need to work on. It's something my spouse and I need to work on. But even if he's not doing this with me, it's actions that I can take on my own, right? And that's what we have to understand. Sometimes this is not going to be something that your spouse does. In often cases, there aren't going to be two partners doing this study, and whether, no matter what our spouse is doing or whether they're doing it with us or not, we have to be the ones to take the first step, okay? And we'll see the fruit. Maybe not right away. Trust takes time. Stuff takes time to rebuild. But make sure that we are taking this dare seriously. And Stephen and Alex Kendrick say, it is worth the endless treasure found beneath the guarded lock, okay? When we are putting in the work to do this. Your loving commitment to reestablishing this intimacy may be the key to opening it for anyone willing to take this dare, okay? So take it seriously. Love your spouses. So today's dare is begin building emotional intimacy with your mate. Determine today to guard your mate's secrets unless they are dangerous to them or to you, and to pray for them. Talk with your spouse and listen with acceptance, opening up to them as well, and make them feel like you are a safe place, okay? And down here in the questions, I just want to read a little bit of that, because in our book, see, there's some stuff down here where we get to write in, which if you have your book, you know, and in the beginning of the study, I had expressed the importance of getting the books and being able to answer the questions in the books. But I want you to know that given that, you know, the safer people feel, the more they open up, what does this say about your marriage in the past? How hard is it for you to listen and hold back from saying something critical or otherwise? Sometimes we just need to practice active listening. So this is why we are doing the spouse, is that, you know, the more they feel safe, the more they'll open up. If they don't feel safe, they're not going to open up, and that's where, you know, lies and stuff come in, and our spouses lie to us about silly things, and maybe you are open and you are a safe place and you never do that to your spouse and they still lie. That's something that you can really pray for them over and about, and just, you know, pray for God to convict their hearts and to help them to be more honest and open with you. All right, so I love you guys. I thank you for tuning in today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow for day 18 of the Love Dare. We are almost halfway there, guys. Stay girded in this dare, in this study, and continue with the dares and continue to see fruit. I hope you're seeing fruit. If you are, please share where you are seeing fruit in your home, and I just hope that you guys are just really getting the intended results out of this, and you're just building more love, and that your hearts are becoming softer and gentler, and that you're changing for the better, because that's really the true purpose of it all, and to build better relationships. So I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and God bless.